I made Clue 13, which was the lost nail, which talks about people were asking me different interviews that I've done, which was what will it take to get you to renounce flat Earth? And I said, well, initially it was like, we're going to need some camera footage, right? We're going to need some camera footage, like a 4K camera that's attached to the side of a rocket. And then, well, it just occurred to me like maybe that's too much. I'm asking too much. Nobody's gonna. It cost a lot of money, and you'd have to do a lot of permission stuff, and it's a design issue. And then it occurred to me, wait a minute, maybe there's something more simple that we can do down here. And then it was the spacesuit, which is, and I challenge anybody. You want to go and mess with people's heads who say, oh yeah, the space program is absolutely real. It's like all you have to do is ask them one question only, which is why I did the Clue, which is how does an astronaut suit work, or how does a spacesuit work? Your choice. And they say, what do you mean? It's like, well, how does it work? It's like, well, you mean like the oxygen? No, that's easy. Heating and cooling? Nope, that's easy too. We can do that. We've been able to do that forever. Tell me how a spacesuit, which is basically a thick balloon, works against a vacuum. How does it not act like a balloon? Because that's all it is, just a thick balloon. Say, oh, it's layers and layers. No. A basketball has layers. A car tire has layers. But when you put air in it, it goes really, really tight. It goes taut, like a snare drum. And whatever container, when you pump it up, it's whatever shape it's in, it'll go into that shape, and it will not be movable. It'll be like a statue. And a basketball, even though it's only doesn't have a lot of air in it, you can pump it up by hand. You can't burst that thing. You can press on it as hard as you want, unless you're like a power lifter, somebody like that. But a car tire, yeah, it has a lot more air in it, but it can hold thousands of pounds of pressure of weight on top of it. So how does a spacesuit, when filled up with air, because that's what we're talking about here, because we're talking about high pressure, low pressure, how does it not act like a balloon? How is it so flexible? It is one of the greatest, most clever cons of all time, which is, and look this up again. I not to go off on a little rant here, but I challenge anyone to look this up. The old NASA footage, when they were working in the old spacesuits, they knew that the soft suit wasn't going to work. They needed a hard shell. It's how we do it with submarines. A diver can only go so deep before the pressure gets to him. At that point, he has to get into a little diving bell, a little diving container, a hard shell. And so they were thinking, okay, we'll treat like a semi-hard shell with plastics and metals, a suit that you can walk around with. And even robotics technology now you'd be hard pressed. You just don't have the power to do it. And they couldn't come up with it. And so the last minute, they just changed their mind and said, no, let's go with a soft suit. Let's go with a soft suit. No one's going to know the difference because the average person on the street doesn't know physics. We teach math. We teach geography. We teach social studies, stuff like that. We teach the basics, but we don't teach a lot about physics. Only the nerds know physics. Find the smartest nerd you know and ask him how a spacesuit works and watch him start scratching his head. That's it. I mean, you can shut down anyone. God help me if I ever run into an astronaut finally, and that, because that is now going to be my number one question. How does the spacesuit work? And even if, again, I'll end my little rant on this, even if you could convince me in 2018, with all the microprocessor technology, that there's something in the backpack, of that magical backpack on the astronaut, that can counteract the vacuum of space, and I can't think of the technology, even if you could convince me in 2018 that it exists now, tell me how it worked in 1969. Tell me how it worked. Because there was nothing digital back then. Tell me, but even then, none of that matters because there is no technology. I can't even, that's how I know it is one of the few things that I can absolutely say 100% without a doubt, put it in a certificate you can frame, sure, that it doesn't work because I can't figure out the tech that you could even make up. Even if I was 50 years in the future, even if I was 100 years in the future, I can't think of the tech that could counteract a vacuum. Sorry, it's my little rant. Sorry.